Start spinning. Go, go, go.
They some dogs. 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 They some dogs.
What's going on YouTube? What's going on Facebook and all the social media networks? Once again, you are tuned in to another episode of the Arterial Motorsportscast featuring the best of TMDESPORTS, BFO, and the My Dogs podcast. We got a very special guest for you tonight, but before we get to that, we got to introduce the cast. Chrissy Acuity in the building. Chrissy, let them know what's good, baby.
Well, I am feeling much better. I'm getting over the flu, but I am so excited for our guest tonight.
TP.
You know what it is. It's your boy Thorough from the My Dogs podcast, where my opinions are always my opinions. We got a good one for y'all today.
All right.
Let's go.
Without further ado, let me introduce this man. He is one of Cleveland's own. He worked at Cleveland.com. He's a social media producer and digital content creator. He goes by the name of the Cleveland and Westlake Crooner. He's also advanced to the second round of the hit TV series on NBC, The Voice. Ladies and gentlemen, Cleveland's own Hayden Grove is in the building. Hayden, what's up, man? How you feeling, baby?
What's up, guys? Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. I appreciate the excitement. Usually I don't get that much excitement when I talk to people.
I am manifesting you winning the trophy. Look at, see, I'm a trophy.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I got you. Team Adam, let's go.
Yes, Team Adam, let's rock. Let's go, baby.
Christy, go ahead and do your thing, baby.
All right, so first I want to say hi to my daddy and to Beth and to Adam and Keith, everybody that's watching us from BFO and beyond BFO. I wanted to bring Hayden on because, first of all, he made it onto The Voice. He had a chair turn Adam, which he's Dominic's doppelganger, so I was like kind of happy about that. But Hayden, I want to get your take on like, what did you think when you first stepped out onto that stage and started singing?
It was nerve-wracking, no doubt. I mean, I was really, nervous walking up onto the stage. But then once the music started, I just kind of did my thing. I've sung this song so many times, and I've performed a lot in my life. So just kind of, do what you do. And there was a moment though, like in the middle, where I knew that when I saw they weren't turning around, I was kind of like, oh boy, like. What do I need to do to get them to turn around? So I had a little bit of a deer in the headlights look, but other than that, I mean, once I kind of hit that last note and saw that Adam turned around, I was so blessed, or felt so blessed and just grateful and appreciative.
Oh God, no doubt. Speaking of which,
I did see.
Oh, go ahead, Chrissy.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Marcus. You talk.
Oh, so my bad. Speaking of which, let's run that. Let's see how that went.
Oh my gosh. And he shows them pearly white, just a jackknife as old McKeith do, and he keeps it.
Great voice, man.
Way out of
Kelsey.
I can't. He's not gonna turn.
One Sunday morning, Eli's body just losing booze and let someone sneak way around the corner.
He's so good.
Tell me, could that someone be all the make of the night?
Bum, bum.
Do it right now. I'm sitting in time. Got to guitar drink.
Do it.
Stay back, let it let you.
He's not gonna do it.
Miss Lucy Brown. Yes, that line falls away on the right face.
right, all right. Hey, what they say? If you water boy, he said he I killed day. He killed it.
Thank you.
But,
It doesn't. It's every time I see it, it still seems surreal. So, it's crazy.
wow,
Well, I got a
wow.
question for
I tell
you.
you what,
Yep.
Okay, now you said that you was kind of nervous because nobody turned their chairs around, but when you watched the clip and seeing that you how they was reacting to your song, to your singing, how did you feel? Did you feel a little bit more comfortable after watching it? Be like, okay, I thought I was bombing, they didn't like me, but they was really talking about me. They was really loving me. How did that feel?
Yeah, it felt a lot better because for the blast, it's been a while since we recorded it, and I didn't know what they were saying. Like I couldn't see, like I just see the backs of the chairs, so I couldn't see what they were saying and couldn't hear what they were saying. So I had no idea. You're right. I was like, oh, am I bombing? What's going on? And yeah, so when they were kind of when I watched it and saw they were really kind of like getting into this chess game and kind of like trying to play each other a little bit in terms of like, oh, you turn, no, you turn, and then finally Adam did it. So I felt like I felt like it was a chess game, and Buble had the king, and Kelsey had the queen, but then Adam was just like the bishop or something. He came in and did what he needed to do.
No doubt. Go ahead, Kristen.
He
You was
was
gonna
like
say
Superman.
something?
He swooped in and saved you.
Yeah, right.
So Adam, Adam, I'm tripping.
I just wanted to
Hey.
tell Hayden, like ever since that song Monday night,
Mm-hmm.
I have actually had a knife in my chest. So I keep hearing Mac the knife every time I cough, and my chest is killing me. And I'm trying to go sleep the other night, and running to my head is Mac the knife. So Hayden, thank you for the earworm. I have forever in my head now. I'm glad it's sung by you though, that not somebody else. It's not a bad song to be stuck in my head. But
Well, I hope you're feeling better.
I've got a question about the knockout rounds because I know. Oh, well, yeah. Don't worry about that. How are you feeling? Are you excited?
I'm feeling good.
Rounds? When are like the lives going to be done?
So the battle rounds are next. That'll be in about a month, and then after that will be the knockouts, and then after that will be I think knockouts, playoffs, and then the lives. So it's still got a long way to go. But the next round is the playoffs, and that'll start in about a month because they do a lot of, in my opinion, the blind auditions are kind of the coolest part of the show where you get a chance to go up there and these wonderful artists decide whether or not they want you, and I think it's really cool. So yeah, so they do the blind auditions for about a month, a little bit over a month, and then the next up will be the battle rounds.
Okay,
So-
well, I got two questions for you. One of them
Hold on,
is
let me spit this
Okay, go
fire.
ahead.
Let me spit this fire. My bad, because I actually said I was going to ask you, Hayden, how does it feel to be up there with Adam and John Legend and these people, man? Were you kind of like starstruck? When you saw these people and you came up there, that's when I was like Adam in Room 5 and all that good stuff. So, how did you feel about that? How did that make you feel?
I mean, a little bit, maybe a tiny bit starstruck, but nothing too crazy. Like I've been lucky enough to be around a lot of really cool people in my life, and I've covered, LeBron James and guys like that, and like, it takes away some of that starstruckness. But I was kind of surprised at how like I thought Adam was I thought Adam was a little smaller than he was. He's kind of a tall guy. And John was great, and Kelsey. It wasn't so much starstruck. I was just grateful to have the opportunity, and then obviously just so excited to be on Team Adam. And then Michael came up and talked to me for a while, and we had a great time. So it was just a really incredible experience. But yeah, it wasn't too starstruck. I mean, they're at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we all put our pants on the same way. So it was cool. It was definitely cool to see them, though. Absolutely.
Go ahead, TP. My bad.
Okay. One of my two questions are one of it, who picks the songs, and how do you pick the song? Do they pick the song? How do y'all come up with the songs, and how do you feel going up against your stiff competition you got? How far do you see yourself going, and how much confidence do you have in yourself?
The first one's a great question. It's kind of a collaborative effort. Like I pick some songs, they pick some songs, and then we kind of figure out like what they kind of figure out what the middle ground is. So it's a little bit of a collaborative effort, which is really cool. That was the song. That was kind of my song that I chose because I've sung it my whole life, and I just really love it, and I think it kind of fits my vibe, and I thought it was just a great pick. And then there were some other songs that we had, and they just were like, no, man, we think that's great too. So collaborative effort in that regard, and then. I'm confident, man, but these guys, as you see, if you watch the entire episodes, I mean, there's just so much talent. There's so much talent from every different genre, from every different state, from every different city, man. I'm confident in my ability to do what I do, and I put myself out there and I give it my best, but there are other really, really talented people too. So it is what it is. And I'm just going to give it my best shot.
When I saw a clip of Usher, how he warms his throat up with tea, do you do anything to warm up your vocal cords? What do you do to get ready for a performance?
Yeah, a lot of water. I do like some lozenges or like I try to stay away from cough drops specifically because they kind of mess with your system and they're medicated and like sometimes you don't need that. So like maybe something like a hard candy or something like that. Some honey, definitely for sure. And then I do like a vocal warm up, just kind of 15 minutes, 20 minutes, just light, just kind of, little exercises that I've gotten to know over the years or over the year. Nothing too crazy. I think the day of the audition, I ate about 50,000 cough drops, and I wrecked my system for the night. I mean, I must have eaten like 20 cough drops. I swear. Because I just was so I was so nervous, so my mouth was getting dry, and I was like, I just got to keep pounding cough drops. So it made for a pretty bad stomachache afterward, but I was more than willing to take it.
That is a lot. So Hayden, you being a Cleveland area native, you know what we got to get on, man. We got to get on your team, man. So
yeah.
Since you've been out there doing your thing. Oh, go ahead, Christy. Go ahead.
Hold on. Yeah. Okay. So those of us who have followed Hayden for quite a while. I mean, I've known Hayden now, I think, 5 years going on.
Probably.
But yeah. So I have watched, of course, your video on TikTok like Michael Bublé does, and I've seen routine, what you usually do. What is your daily routine like now?
Oh man. It's kind of, I mean, I don't like it's a little different. We like the last week it's just been a lot of interviews, like doing stuff like this, I've have a wonderful person that is helping me out, and we're just kind of knocking them out, and I'm trying to get to everybody because I appreciate what you guys do and what I've done over the years, like in the media. So there's a lot of that. I'm gigging 3 or 4 times a week too, so just a lot of different things, man. It's been a really crazy week. But before Monday, I mean, it was kind of slow, honestly, because I couldn't really say anything about anything and was trying to just kind of keep quiet and keep to myself. So yeah, it's been a crazy week, and I'm sure it'll only get crazier. Tomorrow I have an insane day because it's Valentine's Day, and everybody wants to hear my music on Valentine's Day. So I got like 3 gigs, and yeah, I'm at Marble Room tomorrow night. So it'll be a great day.
No doubt. Well, I salute you,
I'm glad
my
to hear
brother.
that they're keeping you busy.
I salute you for doing your thing out there. It take a lot of
All right, now let's talk football.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
No doubt. So now let's get to the milk and cookies of this. You know what I'm saying? So since you've been out there, I know you've heard everything about the Myles Garrett trade, and Myles wanting to come out, and like you said, you cover LeBron, and you being a Cleveland native. How do you feel about that? This whole scenario with Myles Garrett right now?
It's tough. I feel for Myles. I do, because I know that he wants to compete and he wants to win. I know that how much he loves Cleveland. I'm trying to do this new thing where I'm really positive about the Browns and sports. And last year obviously was very hard. But I just don't see a scenario in which he stays. I don't think it's best for him. I don't think it's best for the team. I just think that it's unfortunate that it's come to this, but I mean, the fact that Andrew Berry was so confident that Myles was going to be back, and then Myles is like throwing his words back in his face. It doesn't seem like a good scenario, and it doesn't seem like anybody's happy. So, you hope that, I mean, you'll be able to get a lot for him. I'm not worried about that, but everybody, I'm not going to fault Miles. I'm not going to come hard at the Browns. I mean, they've tried to do right by Miles as much as they can. So, it's just a tough situation. I get it kind of from both ends, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Christy,
Yeah.
Christy, can you hear me?
What about what like Denzel has said, and Njoku has come out and said, Miles, you need to stay. And Chubb is saying, he wants. Well, I saw a couple of days ago he was saying that he was going to stay, but now I think I saw that he's might be changing his mind too, which is kind of confusing to me because like the Browns are the team that give all these guys these chances. When we first got Miles, he beat Rudolph over the head with his own helmet, which was awesome to watch. But, being that he was not really like a proven football player in the NFL at that time, we took a chance and we stuck with him. And then, he gets in the car wreck with his Porsche. Chubb, he got hurt with his knee. We kept him. We're like, we're not going to leave you. We're standing behind you. Then he breaks his foot, and we're still standing behind him. When are these guys going to say, you know what? The Browns have done right by me. Let me do right by them.
I hear you. I definitely hear you. But at the same time, I mean, the unfortunate reality is that I think they're farther away than they're close.
Mm-hmm.
And I like, even if Miles stays, your best kind of option at this point is to, get lucky with the quarterback, and that's just hope is not a plan, unfortunately. Like Miles said, he wanted a plan. Well, the plan is to hope to get a quarterback that's decent, and it's like, is Shador Sanders going to be that guy? Is Cam Ward going to be that guy? Is Aaron Rodgers at 40 something years old going to be that guy? Is Kirk Cousins going to be that guy? Like, I don't know. I don't know. That's not really a sure thing. So I hear what you're saying, that you want them to, do right by the Browns. I get that, but they also want to win, and they also are getting older in their careers. So like at this point, it seems more likely than not that a rebuild is coming. Like, especially if Miles is not going to play, even if the Browns are like, we're not training you, then he's going to sit out. I don't think he's going to play. I really don't. Because he doesn't, that's not, then he can look like he can make the Browns look like the bad guy. So it's just a really hard situation. And I don't blame Denzel either. If Miles is gone, then what am I doing? And if, Denzel is gone, then what is Njoku doing? So it's just, it's really unfortunate and really hard.
TP.
Okay, as a Browns guy, tell me, am I tripping? Because everybody always say I got these crazy ideas. I love my Browns. I'm always optimistic of my team. So I mean, even if we trade Myles Garrett, I think trade Myles Garrett will be a good thing. And the reason why, I don't know what quarterback we're going to get in the offseason, but if we don't get nobody, we can get Shador or Cam Ward at number 2. We trade Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett we're gonna get at least 2 first rounds, and I'm just gonna say a second round. So we're gonna have 2 first rounds this year, 2 second rounds this year, and we already got 3 third rounds. So we got like 7 picks in 3 rounds. We can rebuild this team back. So we don't have to go like to a real rebuild. We can have some nice young talent if AB and his scouts can get on point.
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. That a rebuild isn't that bad. Like, people think of rebuilds and they're like, oh, they're going to be terrible for the, in the NFL. You can rebuild relatively quickly if you have a quarterback. It's that easy. Like, it's that simple. So if you get lucky with Shador and he's the guy, like, I think, unfortunately, I do think it's more of a crapshoot in the NFL. Like, some of these guys, some of these great quarterbacks, kind of like a Brock Purdy, like he was last pick in the draft. So it is a little bit of luck, but okay, say Shador's the guy, then he's playing well, then you're right. Then you trade Miles, you get another first round pick, you can add maybe, another edge rusher, or you can add a linebacker or something, and then, you got more second. I think a rebuild can be relatively quick. Like, the Browns went from they went from 0 and 6 or 1 and 50. No, it was they went from 0 and
1 and
16 and they
32.
went from 1 and 0 and
1 and
16, 1 and 31, right? They went 0 and 16 to like 8. Like, didn't they win? Weren't they like around 500 the next year with Baker Mayfield? Like, it wasn't a complete like terrible time. So I think it's you can rebuild relatively quickly. You just got to nail your draft picks and you got to find that quarterback.
Yes.
No doubt, no
And as you
doubt.
guys
So
can see from what my dad said, the apple
Mhm.
doesn't fall far from the tree. Because my dad said, until we get new owners, it's always going to be a challenge. And I didn't, me and my father do not talk about the Haslams. He may have, seen why I complain about the Haslams and say that, I don't think the Haslams are good for Cleveland Browns because I strongly believe that they are still in the Steelers' back pocket, but that's just my opinion. And, obviously my dad thinks the same way. And my dad was a coach of football. That's how I learned all my football knowledge. And, I don't know. I just really wish that, somebody else maybe took over partnership and let them go run their gas stations.
Yeah, I mean the unfortunate reality is in the NFL, like that it's just rare to
They take
happen
their own
that
money.
you get. Yeah, it's rare to get. But the thing that I struggle with specifically is that like if AB and Kevin are the guys, like if you really believe in them, then you kind of got to let them rebuild and like let them figure it out. Like or the other question is like do you let them rebuild? Like Andrew Berry has obviously made some big misses. He's had some hits for sure, but he's made some big misses. Like, is that the guy you want drafting the number 2 pick? Is that the guy you want trading Myles Garrett? I mean, I'm not saying like I think he actually does do a pretty good job, and I just think that like the Watson thing was just a huge whiff. And it happened, but so I don't know. I don't know what the ownership would think, if they would trade or if they would, they can't really get rid of Andrew and Kevin at this point. So like my biggest fear, and this is my biggest fear, is that they're bad again this year. Like, and the quarterback isn't that great. Like whether it's Kirk Cousins or whether it's, whether it's say Shador doesn't look great. So then next year you're like, okay, Shador didn't look great this year. We don't have a quarterback. Now we really have to rebuild, and like now we have to have a new GM and a new coach, and then the new GM and the new coach, they're going to want their own players and their own guy. Like I think like there's a potential for this rebuild to be delayed a year, which I don't love. But
Well, let's stop mentioning
it.
Shador.
Yeah.
When I got a big question for you.
Okay.
I got a big question for you before you have to go. Okay,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna put you. I love AB. I love Andrew Berry. He now he can't draft, but he can bring us some from free agent talent.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna put you in Andrew Berry's shoes. Since everybody criticized the Browns, but have nothing to stand on. Like if you was in that situation, what would you do? So I'm gonna ask you. You're Andrew Berry. Couple questions. What do you do with Myles Garrett? What do you do with the number 2 pick? And I had something else. Oh, and what do you do with Chubb?
Sorry, I missed that last part.
Nick Chubb. What do you do with Nick Chubb?
Okay. If I'm Andrew Berry, I trade Myles Garrett. I do. I trade Myles Garrett. Andrew Berry's been good in trades. I think he can get a good haul. So say you get another first this year. So you got 2 first-round picks this year, and then potentially one in the future. So okay, I would trade Myles Garrett. I like Cam Ward, but I think that Tennessee's going to take him. So I would try to, I would probably take Shador at number 2. And then, very early second round would try to get an edge rusher to try to, see what you can do with Myles. And then with Nick Chubb, that's a tough one, man, because it didn't look good last year in terms of like him bouncing back. But at the same time, he's such a great team guy. He's such a great locker room guy. He's such great for the culture. So I would re-sign him. I'd bring him back, and hopefully he can regain that form now, being about a year and a half out from that injury, or maybe closer to 2 years from that injury. Maybe he'll really start to feel better and really have that burst again. But I would still draft a running back for sure. I would bring in, somebody. I don't know if Ashton Genty will go in the first round, but I would bring in somebody of his ilk, maybe Quinshon Judkins, something like that. So The thing that worries me too, though, is that Joel Bitonio, he's getting older. Wyatt Teller, the contract's coming up. Jack Conklin, like, is the offensive line going to be any good? So there's so many different kind of pieces and parts where, you know, Miles and Denzel, if you trade them, you could definitely get some great pieces to maybe potentially fill some of those holes. But then the holes that you have with Miles and Denzel are just, you know, just as big. So I do not envy Andrew Berry. I really don't. I do like Andrew Berry too. I like Andrew Berry for sure. But you know, it's tough, man. I mean it's just when you made such a big risk and it just whiffed like this, it's like, you know, you might have to go back to the drawing board and start over.
No doubts. So I know you've been out there for a while. So this is the last question before you go.
Yep.
They announced that as far as the economics of funding this dome,
Yep.
basically Cuyahoga County, they would like to have $178 million. How do you feel about Cuyahoga County being responsible for that type of money? I mean, is it fair for the citizens of Cleveland? How do you feel about that, Hayden?
It's way above my pay grade, man. I don't know anything about them. Like I'm kind of an X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's guy. Like I am not about the money and all that stuff. So like I don't even have an answer for you. I think the one thing I'll say is that, you know, as long as the Browns are in Cleveland proper in Cuyahoga County, I'm fine with it. You know, I think that you know, fans are kind of going back and forth about the arguments and whatnot. I can guarantee you that when they're in Brook Park and they're the Cleveland Browns, people will still go, they'll still support, still cheer because the team says Cleveland on the front. So, you know, my personal wish would be for them to put it on the airport and really develop that, you know, that space. But there's a lot of hiccups apparently, and there's a lot, again, way above my pay grade, way above my mental capacity. So I'm gonna just leave it at that.
So you for the dome?
Real quick.
Do I support a dome?
Yes.
Last thing too.
Sure. I love the elements. I love like the Pittsburgh game last year. So fun, but like, you know, these guys are getting injured more often than not to begin with. So like, I hope they can do you know, real grass somehow. But yeah, I'm okay with the dome. I am. It'll be better for the fans. I mean, it's just it can get really really cold, and it can get, you know, really nasty, and you can get sick and get some. So I'm okay with the dome.
Go ahead, Christy.
Well, now that you talk about the dome, it's like, well, Green Bay doesn't have a dome. Buffalo's building a new stadium. Is there going to be a dome that they're building in Buffalo? The new stadium, right? Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, we're building this brand new stadium that's going to be a dome so that the Haslams can make more money. That's all it is. It's not going to bring us a Super Bowl. It'll bring a Super Bowl to the city. Right.
Well, that's again, I think if Cleveland can benefit financially from that, that's great. But I agree with you. It's not going to help the football team, but
no,
you know, I don't know. But again, above my pay grade. I'm going to watch the football game wherever they play. If they say the Cleveland Browns, I'm going to watch them. So
the only numbers I do are the number of positive Browns fans that we have in BFO that we are all going to put behind Hayden when he gets past the knockout rounds, and we're going to have everybody voting for you, just like we did with Ray Showdog to get him into the Hall of Fame, and just like we tried for our other Browns fans trying to get in the Hall of Fame. We're going to 100% be behind Hayden Grove and push for him on Team Adam on The Voice Monday nights, 8:00 Eastern, right?
Yep, on NBC.
And it's probably going to be a couple more weeks before we see you again, unfortunately.
Yep.
So hopefully by then the earworm will be out of my head and you can stick a new one in there for me.
There you go. I appreciate you guys having me. Thank you so much.
Hey, I appreciate you so much, man.
You know that.
No, thank
you
guys.
Man. I hope you win it all, baby.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
I remember what I was going to say. Hold on. I remember what I was going to say. Okay, so with the dome being in Brook Park, evidently there's going to be a hotel called the Hotel Barker.
Yes.
Not sure if you recall our Robo Pete. Remember Robo Pete Barker from the UK?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He said that's his hotel, so we're all going to be able to stay there for free.
There you go. I love it.
All right, Hayden, I know you got to get that gig, man. I don't want to hold you up. It's
I
business as
appreciate you guys.
Thank you,
Yes,
Hayden.
I
We
just
love
I
you
just
so
want to
much.
thank you for coming on and being humble and still just giving us small guys a chance and
No,
and a
man.
shot. I thank you for still being humble. You Hollywood, but you're
Nah,
still humble.
no, man.
Don't
I'm
don't
Cleveland,
forget
man.
about it.
I'm Cleveland, man. That's
There
what I
you
am.
go.
There you
You're
go.
pretty enough
I
to be
need
Hollywood.
50%
You're
off of
Cleveland.
some tickets, bro.
Yep. Yeah, I got you, man. God bless
No
you guys.
doubt.
Have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank
You
you,
too.
I do.
Hayden. We'll talk
Take
to you
All
care.
right.
soon.
All right. All right.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. That's gravy, man.
Aw.
That's humble at its finest, man. And we are at the end of the show. You know what I'm saying? It's so difficult when you rocking 4 people, yo. So hey, closing remarks before we go, people. Christy, go ahead and say your piece.
Can't wait to get the knife out of my chest. Hopefully the Browns don't stick a knife in my back once I do.
Wow.
I don't know. I just it's
TP.
so hard to be a Browns fan.
Well, I just want to thank all the people that viewed. I want to thank Hayden for coming on because I mean, being a podcaster, doing what we doing, we can't do it without guests giving us their time, humbling themselves for us, and for y'all that just tuning in and watching. I love it. I love it, and because I mean, this is something what I'm trying to do. So I really love everybody that viewed, and I thank him for coming on because this is something big for me that we're trying to do, and I appreciate everything anybody and everybody does for me.
No doubt. Because he's trying to hold that man up. The man said he got a gig. He got to finish his gig. Jesus Christ. But it is what it is. So, hey, we do our thing, man. And like I say, make sure before we go, make sure you get all your gear at fanatics.com, the official licensed gear for everywhere. Cleveland 13 News, your way. And Guardian Caps, one hit at a time. And like I say every week, go Browns, bitches. And we will see y'all next week. Peace.